Testing, 1, 2, 3. And before I saw the video, I know about the coronavirus and everything, and we had to stay at home to make sure we don't get infected and, you know, not to get sick. I get that, but I like to do a reaction video because, damn, being isolated in the house, and, you know, I understand for our safeties and everything, but damn, we fucking miss being outside and, you know, having fun, but damn, sucks so fucking much. But please, do stay inside, because I'm pretty sure no one do not want to die from this shit. But I have to say, did it really have to come? Where did it came from? I really want to know, where the hell did it came from? Shit. Everyone had to stay home. The schools are closed. All the damn stores had to close too. I mean, there are some stores and grocery store open. You know, we got to get our food and toilet papers and shit. But damn, sucks so much. That's what I want to talk about and talk about first before we start the video. But either though, hey everyone, I really want to do this reaction video for a while, because I never got the time for it, and I had to break this video down. There's gonna be multiple parts of me watching this video, because this is a 2-hour video, 2 hours and 37 minutes of a video. So we ain't gonna get through this for this whole thing, but if we could get to that whole 1 hour of this video, and we could do the hour, you know, next time. But right now, let's get into this. And Mahler, if you do watch this video, your subscribers and everyone really appreciate you when you made this video, because I follow you on Twitter, and when you dropped this video 7 months ago, I watch this video. But let's get into the video.
As the episode
Whoa, start off.
Good God, you outdid yourselves. I'm beyond impressed. As the episode begins, we get a montage of quotes from characters that allude to a certain Danny becoming a certain baddie.
Every time a Targaryen is born, the gods flip a coin.
The king gave his enemies the justice he thought they deserved. Targaryen, alone in the womb. This is terrible.
You don't want to wake the dragon.
Children are not their fathers.
This is called subtlety, and it means the writers are concerned that the audience won't believe an upcoming event in the show, and so they collected any and all statements that could specifically support said event throughout the series and wedged it all into a montage, pre-game, in the hopes that anyone who thought Daenerys wouldn't kill scores of children might be convinced otherwise. And did it work? We open on good old Varys taking action since we last saw him, fueled by his apprehension of Queen Daenerys. And it comes in the form of writing letters to other people in the kingdoms, letting them know that another Targaryen is alive and well and the heir to the throne. He's doing this in his dinky bedroom that's inside.
I'm gonna show you sometimes, you know what's going on, but not so much, because they may block my, video.
Varys would do. So he then hears footsteps. Knowing that anyone who sees the Raven Scroll could cost him his head, he places a blank page on top of it. You fucking what, mate? If I was an Unsullied and I knew this guy was in a recent significant disagreement with my queen, and he's the Master of Whispers, and he's writing letters that are covered when I enter the fucking room, you can bet your ass I'm gonna check them. Varys is supposed to be aware of these things. Motherfucker, sit on the letter, scribble over it, eat it for Christ's sake. Don't just put a piece of paper on top of it. How in the world is this character Varys? So, one of his little birds visits, and she is dismayed to report that Daenerys isn't eating food, and Varys responds,
We'll try again.
Try again at supper. Right, so Varys is trying to poison Daenerys in an attempt to prevent her from hurting civilians in the potential sack of King's Landing. Which is curious. Why would Varys still be in this castle if he was attempting to murder the fucking queen of it? Why wouldn't he leave this place like he always has when his life is at risk and puppeteer from a distance? Especially when this woman has already threatened to kill him if he engages in betrayal. Also, why is he killing her now? Does he know what'll happen? The unsullied march home, or at the very least sail home, and they would likely have the Dothraki in tow, leaving Drogon no reason to hang around in the north. Dragons apparently don't do well there, as the show has already made clear, meaning you have the Northmen and possibly Dorne versus King's Landing, the Golden Company, and the Iron Fleet, and that means Cersei wins, and the realm bleeds, because how in the world will he get Jon on the throne at that point? Does it make any sense that Varys, the spy master of Westeros, the guy who has more apparent history with monarchs than anyone alive, would choose to kill Daenerys while Cersei is undefeated? No, not to mention that his mistrust of her is based on the idea that Dany is willing to accept collateral damage, which is something Varys has always been on board with. He is the one that helped stoke the fires of this very war. He is the kind of person who would probably be 100% in line with Dany's plan on paper. I mean, I thought he was. So this can't be Varys. Don't
No.
believe me? Well, check out what happens next.
I think they're watching me.
Who?
Her soldiers.
Of course they are. That's their job.
That's their job? You're telling me that it's not extremely concerning that your personal queen assassin is being watched by the men who fight for the queen, and the queen has stopped eating when your assassin's method of delivery was food? How is this not a series of huge red flags for you, Varys? Why are you not making arrangements to leave?
What have I told you, Martha?
The greater the risk, the greater the reward.
What?
The Your Varys. Did you learn nothing after what happened to Roz? Your entire thing is risk
Oh, is
reduction
that
to
part
ensure
that
you can
that woman?
continue
Oh.
to influence the future. Nothing matters more than you being alive to serve the people of the realm. You do not engage with a plan if it entails a personal cost.
Storms come and go. The big fish eat the little fish, and I keep on paddling.
Oh, sorry, I played a clip of pre-season 6 Varys. Let's check out the new character they decided to shit onto our screens.
I will act in their interest, no matter the
Season
personal
8.
cost.
No matter the personal cost? That sounds pretty fucking heroic there, Varys.
You watch my men be exhausted and did nothing.
Season 1.
And what again, my lord? When you look at me, do you see a hero?
I saved your life. If they catch you, if they catch me.
I cannot say I feel overly guilty about leaving
Season
you in
5.
that fucking crate. Can you free me from this bed? I can't like that.
How they fuck up this show so badly? How you fuck up Forrest?
It would seem I'm playing clips from entirely different fucking shows at this point.
It must be.
I hope I deserve this. Truly I do.
You hope you deserve it? Who is this corpulent goblin, and why do they insist on calling him Varys? How did this man manage to bend the ear of so many kings, allowing so many atrocities while living for so long if he's the jump-on-a-grenade type? It's almost like all of this is happening so he can be unceremoniously flushed down the fucking toilet in a few minutes. Can you please do or say something intelligent? We then see Jon is giving us an update for his soldiers. They are at the Trident and they are moving to King's Landing, which will take 2 days. That's amusing, since Dany's forces managed to travel from Winterfell to the Euron battle, to Dragonstone on foot, to King's Landing on foot, and back to Dragonstone before Jon's could even get to the Trident.
I need to pause and talk about that because, like, seriously, in season 7, they had this insanity teleportation of getting one place to the next to the next. I'm like, how the fuck are these guys are moving that so damn fast? I mean, like, the fact that Jon and Gendry, Jorah went to the north to capture one of the undead, so to prove Cersei that the undead are real, and somehow Daenerys somehow managed to get to the north to save them in the nick of time. How? This is just what? No. What the fuck?
Don't bother
Fuck
questioning
off.
teleportation rules, it's never going to make sense in universe. Though in terms of writing, they are making the Northmen take this amount of time so that we can finish up the Varys story first, since if the attack had already begun, Varys wouldn't be able to hatch this tismy plot. Speaking of which, Varys decides he would like to speak to Jon about Dany's incoming decision to potentially murder hundreds of thousands for a fucking chair, and Jon seems to be on board with it.
That's her decision to make. She is our queen.
Fucking Neela. Varys then proceeds to tell Jon, someone he barely knows outside of him being honorable to his queen, that his queen is probably insane and they should unseat her from the throne. He deadass says this to Jon in front of a couple Northmen not meters away in full view of Tyrion Lannister, Hand of the fucking Queen, the same guy who told you not 2 fucking days ago not to do anything. Varys is so fucking stupid at this point that I'm surprised he hasn't asked Daenerys personally if she would help him poison her. But the show isn't done ruining his character yet. He tells Jon that he is pretty sure his coin has landed well, meaning he is sane. That's interesting. Varys once thought that Daenerys' coin had landed well. He also once argued for Viserys' coin having landed well, despite agreeing later that it hadn't. Then we have the fact that he thought Robert, Joffrey, Stannis, Tommen, and Cersei were all flawed rulers, and they didn't have any fucking coin to begin with. So really, the entire point of that saying is an excuse to make Targaryen characters randomly insane without having to write it in a way that makes any fucking sense, isn't it? It also tells us that Varys really had no fucking clue what he was doing this whole time. What even made Varys think Dany was going to be a great queen in the first place? He seems to hate the idea of fire and blood when it comes to attaining victories.
What is my heart's desire?
Vengeance.
I think this was season 6, if I remember.
Kind of forgot about.
Oh, well, fuck it, it's probably subjective or whatever.
They say every time a Targaryen is born, the gods toss a coin, and the world holds its breath.
Not much for riddles where I'm from.
That's not a riddle, asshole.
Coin toss is not a riddle, you fucking beetroot.
What do you want? All I've ever wanted. The right ruler on the Iron Throne.
Like I said, Varys is pretty fucking awful at this particular job, considering he's been doing this puppeteering for 8 years now, having a hand in the death of rulers or the reputation of kings rising and falling, only to now meet some guy who has the right blood and say, yeah, this is the one. This is who it's all been for. It's almost like this makes no sense because they didn't keep all of the plot lines of the book, like young Griff, despite keeping the characters that were a part of them, and so Varys is akin to a headless fucking chicken in this show.
I don't want it. I never have.
Jon really showing off his incredible range of dialogue here.
She is my queen.
God.
Really hate what they did to Jon because, like, seriously, the man's supposed to be a leader, and they just. When he kneeled to Daenerys, this man is just. Fucking hell.
For Jon, I was pissed off because it's a poor representation of Jon's character. But fuck it, I guess Varys was right. Tyrion then decides to talk to Daenerys, even though Varys says she won't see anyone. Makes me wonder if that statement was true, or if people just haven't tried walking into a fucking room yet. Either way, she says someone has betrayed her, and Tyrion waits for her to say, Jon Snow. And then this is his reaction.
Varys.
Fuck off.
You witless gnome, how are you the hand of the queen and the smartest motherfucker in this world when you can't wait 5 fucking seconds to listen to what she is talking about before you throw Varys under the bus? Also, thanks for ratting him out. That was great to watch, considering how loyal and long-term his friendship has been. More on that in a second. What's bothering me right now is that we never find out if Tyrion is ratting out Varys for the poison, for the letters, for talking to Jon, or for the conversation they previously had. It's essentially impossible to tell by the dialogue. He simply says Varys betrayed you, but Dany also said that Jon has betrayed her, and the qualifier for this was Jon telling Sansa the secret. And so by that logic, would Tyrion not be a traitor at this point? And besides, in the scene it was discussed with Jon, it was never concluded as a promise or oath to never be told. She even specifies that she only begged him not to, and so him doing it now means betrayal? Okay. This then leads into Dany concluding that from Tyrion saying Varys has betrayed her, that Varys knows the truth about Jon, and that Tyrion must have told him, because Sansa must have told Tyrion, and thus Jon must have told Sansa. She figured this out in some kind of backward 4D chess moment when a shit ton of other things could have happened. But then this brings into question that if Varys' betrayal was news to Dany, then she can't know about the potential poisoning, and so why is she not eating food? Unless she assumes that everyone might be trying to poison her at this point, so she'll just eventually starve, I suppose. Maybe she's just not hungry to an insane degree, in which case Varys was just unlucky with his chosen method of assassination. What's disappointing is Dany doesn't even ask what Varys' betrayal is in this scene. She just accepts it. Was it the letters? The poison? Was it knowing and talking to Jon about his heritage? Are these things traitorous? Is she aware of all of them or only some of them? What in the floppy fuck is happening?
The dialogue is so fucking terrible in this fucking episode. I'm like, it's like missing, you know, fucking hell, man.
Do you think Sansa told you?
She trusts me.
Yes. She trusted you to spread secrets that could destroy your own queen. And you did not let her down.
So here we find out that Tyrion has been outsmarted by the snarky statue and the bleached baboon back to back. Because Tyrion at this point really does have all of the intelligence of a chunky fart. He couldn't tell he was being manipulated by Sansa into screwing with Daenerys' rule, when in the same scene the setup was that Sansa asked him if there was someone better who can rule. And Dany understood this without having heard what Sansa even said. And so, how does this character that the show calls Tyrion respond when faced with this information?
If I have failed you, my queen, forgive me.
Oh my god.
It actually upsets me to see Tyrion so fucking feeble-minded, submissive, and terrified when he was so much stronger when it came to rulers who are so much more threatening.
Thank you.
And we've had English kings, but I don't know if we've ever been cursed with that vicious idiot.
You can't!
I can, I am! I, Lancel Lannister, do solemnly vow...
All right, enough. Even torturing you is boring.
Use small words, I'm not as bright as you.
You deserve more subscribers, bro.
Die. Give me more relief than 1,000
Season 4.
wars. Is this how justice is done in the Vale?
I'm not threatening the king, sir. I'm educating my nephew. Bronn, the next time Sir Meryn speaks, kill him.
That was a threat. See the difference? If I have failed you, my queen, forgive me.
I miss you, Tyrion.
I
The
miss
scene
this
ends with him saying
Tyrion.
everyone has the best intentions, but none of that matters, meaning that Tyrion is signing off on Varys' death. What? Why has the dialogue gotten so fucking strange? More importantly, how can Tyrion be so comfortable with this? He is the one who is desperate to save enemy generals from slaughter, and he can't spare some begging for the person who saved his life? The person who offered him advice and friendship and has given his life new meaning on top of being primarily concerned with the well-being of the people? Seriously? This is just so fucking awesome to watch. So Varys is sitting in his dinky bedroom once again, writing another letter of treason, or the same one, who fucking knows? Who fucking cares? He hears footsteps once again and decides to burn his letter this time and hides the remains in a pot. Pretty sure that if you put that note while on fire,
I'm pretty certain it don't matter no more.
it's going to stop burning. Oxygen and all that. Oh, fuck it, it's dead.
Yeah, I
You'd
know.
think they would have arrested the moment they found out about his treason to prevent him from sending any more letters, and yet they waited until nighttime for some reason. Who knows how many lords now know the truth about Jon? I don't even know which will care or if they'll have time to act on that information. Honestly, I kind of look forward to seeing how it will affect the last episode, how the political landscape will change once all the lords know about the true heir to the Iron Throne. I'm sure it'll be fascinating. Many consider episode 6 of season 8 to be the best in the series, right?
No.
Before leaving, Varys takes off his rings and drops them into a cup. I have no idea why. I don't know why they're significant at all. I'm sure it's a metaphor. It's part of my fucking themes. Either way, he is taken to be executed, and Tyrion comes to him to say he... This, again, means that Daenerys wasn't aware of Varys' treason previous to Tyrion revealing it, and we don't know what action it was that made Tyrion conclude that Varys needed to die for, which is pretty important considering the history of these two lads. Was it the poison, the discussion, the letters? I don't know. Seems like something we should get some dialogue for. Varys is also seemingly comfortable with Tyrion condemning him to death. I don't know. He's not outraged or disappointed. Seems like something we should get some dialogue for. The other problem is that Daenerys doesn't think that keeping Varys around for his knowledge might be useful. The motherfucker has the most connections in Westeros as well as the most self-professed experience with kings and the people, but nah. Varys doesn't even argue his case or tell Daenerys that killing
It's like everything just went to shit.
Disappointed she would kill him for trying to prevent, or why she'll lose the faith of the people by betraying them or something. I don't know. Seems like something we should get some dialogue for. So he dies. Jon says nothing because he's not a character right now, and the same goes for Tyrion. And fuck, Varys doesn't even scream. That's pretty impressive considering the horrors of immolation, but yeah, he's gone. All because he has no fucking clue what he's doing when it comes to the one fucking profession he's supposed to be the goddamn best at.
Fuck this show. Fuck this show.
No, you fucked his character. You fucked it so goddamn hard. Varys wouldn't have done any of this shit. No, that's fucking stupid. No, it's not Varys. Nope, hashtag not my Varys. I'm so fucking sorry, Conleth.
And I'm gonna say, and Conleth said in multiple interviews that about he was not happy how, you know, he said this multiple times, and I am so sorry to Conleth Hill, because this is just sad. How, if you saw the video when they react, when they had their script and they, you know, Conleth Hill, when he Conleth Hill did not give a flying fuck no more. You could see his reaction. He drove his script in front of him because he just like he just did not give a fuck no more. That just shows that he don't care no more, and that is just sad. They spent almost like half a decade or something doing this, and this is how they did their, you know, the character they bust their asses on. That is sad.
So what the fuck happens next? Well, Dany is in a deep depression, commenting on the death of my Sunday with grey asshole. It wasn't her supposed children, it was the girl she chatted with every once in a while about boys. I honestly didn't even remember why my Sunday was in the show, but now I know exactly why.
What should I say would happen if you...
I completely forgot why Miss Sunday was in this stupid shit.
She killed Varys as much as I did. This is a victory for her.
Sansa killed Varys as much as you did?
Dracarys.
I don't know, kinda seems like you killed him, but maybe I don't know how fire works, and I guess Tyrion can get some blame too, but Sansa? She told fucking Tyrion a secret. For all we know, Sansa doesn't even care about Varys. She might even hate Varys and would never expect him to switch teams or even be interested in the message. In fact, it was a shock to Tyrion, a close friend of many years, that Varys had turned his cloak so fucking hard and fast. The idea that this was in any way Sansa's plan is hilarious, but I mean, she's super smart right now, right guys? The only way to raise characters up is to smash others down. And the sad fact is that we'll never get the conversation where Dany is asked what she thinks about the true heir getting the throne. We never get to see her say that she wants the throne regardless of the bloodlines, and that was essentially just an excuse this whole time. And that she believes she simply is the best suited due to her leadership, her past, her altruism, but she ultimately reveals she simply wants it. We don't see any of this conflict because nobody fucking asks her. This is a major opportunity because that rightful aspect of her claim is what she's been repeating for the entire show.
I was born to rule the Seven Kingdoms. And I will.
Every time they lay out her ego-driven essay of a fucking title, you get a full sense of Tism, but you also understand that she puts a huge amount of weight on being the rightful heir.
You stand in the presence of Daenerys Stormborn of House Targaryen, rightful heir to the Iron Throne, rightful Queen of the Andals and the First Men,
And yet the only reference we get to it being a conflict for Dany to overcome is Sam mentioning it in episode fucking 1.
You gave up your crown to save your people.
It's just missing
That's
that.
a really fucking
It's just not being consistent no
more.
more.
Explore fucking any of it because Jon doesn't want it. People just don't talk to each other anymore. And don't get me wrong, they talk. It's just that it's usually about fucking or milk or chair catalogs. Rarely do they discuss things that are important, and if it is something important, not only is the conversation often cut, but they tend to bungle the important information in such a way that the story is allowed to continue the way the writers want. And hell, even if Sansa was allied with Varys, or she knew she could manipulate him, how would this be a victory? You fucking killed him, which means Sansa would have lost a
Sorry about that.
in her attempts to prevent you.
I try not make no one interrupt the live stream.
Also, hearing that people get incinerated when talking about Jon's heritage is probably not something that encourages her to spread it, especially since he doesn't want it.
I don't want it.
Shut the fuck up, Jake.
I love you.
Jon is like a fucking NPC at this point. How do you take the driving force of the Northern plot and turn him into...
I mean, like, literally, how the fuck you managed to turn Jon Snow to a whipping boy? I mean, like, what the fuck happened to him?
To a fucking meme. How do you...
His dialogue is just like, you're my queen. I don't know how much I can say. I love you. She's my queen. Oh my god. How the fuck you fuck yourself? How you fuck that character up?
So, Dany is upset that Jon won't put a finger in her bum, and so she decides that this is the last straw and she will commit to her horrid plans.
I didn't mean fair.
I'm sorry, what? I thought that you were still banking on telling the people of King's Landing that you rescued them from the dead, and that Cersei will tell people that's a lie, so once you get rid of her, you will win their love and respect. I also thought that you had 2 enormous armies that loved you, and the de facto king of the largest kingdom loves you, and Tyrion loves you, and Grey Worm loves you. Whether or not the fucking people of King's Landing love you is yet to be seen, but they don't love Jon either. Neither of you have met them yet, for fuck's sake. What the fuck is this dialogue? It's like a direct message from D&D saying, you see, she's unhappy that nobody loves her, and that means she will kill everyone. That's how humans work. I also love how she and Jon never discuss their issues. There's no conversation about the fact that they are related, and that is standing in the way of them being closer. They also never discuss the fact that if they married, they can solve a large portion of the leadership woes that Varys and Sansa have.
And I said that when before I made the reaction videos and everything. Me and my friend love this show, and we talked about why they just not married, because it will solve the problem. She got the support of Marine, the slavers, and everything, and Jon got the support of the entire North, and it will solve a whole lot of help and problems. Why didn't get married? But no, throw that out of the window.
Varys? Who fucking knows? Nobody talks to each other anymore. But then again, you can't really complain because these things would prevent wars and executions, so that would be boring, and we can't do that. Then again, I suppose it's more concerning that Jon doesn't seem to react to the fact that Daenerys says, "Let it be fear." You would think Jon Snow might have an issue with a bipolar ruler claiming they want to rule with fear, but we have to remember it makes sense because this isn't Jon. Also, I have to say, trying to solicit sex from Jon after incinerating someone in front of him is just not the most romantic thing to do, Dany. It's almost like they're crushing scenes together, side by side, because they're rushing. Speaking of which, we transition to the next scene, and it has Dany in it. She's sitting on the throne at Dragonstone while Tyrion is pleading for the lives of the people of King's Landing. Seems like we probably skipped over a lot between these two scenes, but hey, we've got no time left. Tyrion points out that the people of King's Landing are no different than the people of Meereen, and they deserve liberation rather than destruction. And since she saved Meereen, it follows that she would save, implying that by comparison, the people of King's Landing are possibly pro-Cersei, which is fucking hilarious. And so, Tyrion argues that the people of King's Landing are afraid, and to show any kind of resistance would be a potential threat to their families. The fact that he has to explain any of this is embarrassing. This heel turn is absolutely insane. Daenerys Targaryen chose to remain in Essos to liberate and protect people. This was a goal that superseded Westeros and the Iron Throne.
Taking the city will not bring him any closer to Westeros.
And this is one of her about her character, and they no.
I fought so that no child born into Slaver's Bay would ever know what it meant to be bought or sold. I will continue that fight here and...
I want to know,
This is
whoever's watching, I want to know who characters got destroyed that you love. I'm curious.
Cersei is a tyrant and she has to be removed, and the implication is by any means necessary. They are non-specific about the plan to assault the city, but it goes forward regardless. Tyrion requests a peaceful outcome, assuming the city surrenders, which seems very reasonable, but we can't tell whether Daenerys agrees, and Tyrion doesn't press the issue, because he is a flaccid puddle of tears at this point. Though it is interesting that Tyrion said the surrender of the city would be highlighted by the bells being rung. It would seem that D&D haven't rewatched older seasons of Game of Thrones very recently, because Davos, when assaulting King's Landing in Season 2, said this.
They're welcoming me, you king. I've never known bells to mean surrender.
But what would he know? He only grew up in King's Landing.
Kind of forgot.
Before Tyrion can leave, Daenerys informs him that Jaime Lannister has been captured and that he was trying to return to his sister.
How did they capture him?
All forms of, oh fucking hell, how are there so many of these moments now? Just a complete and utter fuck up. Let's break it down. How would Jaime get caught by an army that he's heading towards? He knows that they're ahead of him and they're walking away from him. Wouldn't he see them from literal miles away and simply go around them? Why, if he had decided to idiotically go through the army, would he not have been able to slip past the army by covering himself up? You know, like even with a shawl? If he ultimately got caught, why would he tell the guards that he wanted to go back to Cersei? Why wouldn't he simply tell them that he wanted to join their fight or advise about assaulting King's Landing? Or hell, that he could sneak in and mercy kill Cersei to stop all of the bloodshed? Why, if the Dothraki or Unsullied caught him and he confessed to being a traitor, would they not have immediately killed him? Why is Daenerys keeping him alive when he A, fights for the opposing team, B, is important to Cersei, C, just betrayed the team he was pledged to, D, my Sunday was just executed, so clearly Daenerys is in revenge mode, and E, sending fucking letters about Jon's heritage can earn execution status even if you're a good guy, so surely Jaime has done worse to earn it. This is an absolute clusterfuck of awful writing.
Thank you.
Anyone who's self-admitted to be loyal to Cersei shouldn't be allowed to live in these scenarios.
What are the Queen's commands? Kill all who follow Cersei Lannister.
That's besides the fact that I was under the impression that Daenerys doesn't take prisoners.
Nothing scraps bold notions.
Yeah, because she burned people with her fucking dragons.
I'm not here to put that in shit.
Well,
If
dragon.
that becomes an option,
Plural.
then you will take it.
Kind of forgot.
That clip will become super relevant next episode too.
Thank
Before
you.
the scene ends, Daenerys threatens Tyrion.
Next time you fail me. Be the last time you fail.
And people still believe that Daenerys haven't lost her mind yet. But we will get to that part.
Point if she's willing to cut him loose the next time he fails, but whatever. Moving on, Tyrion arrives at the Northerner camp outside of King's Landing, and he asks Davos to smuggle something.
I need to ask you a favor. You're not gonna like this favor, am I?
Kind of weird how Davos lost his son to the Battle of Blackwater Bay, and he never talks about that. Especially considering Tyrion Lannister is technically the one who killed his son, but that sort of shit is only going to get in the way at this point, so fuck it, he's just willing to do him a favor.
Last time I was here, you killed my son with wildfire.
And how the hell you forget
Kind
that?
of forgot.
Yeah, nah, you can't really just forget about something like that. Davos is essentially committing treason as a favor for a guy he should pretty much hate.
I know, right?
Sense. Arya and the Hound then turn up to the Northerner outpost and tell the standing guard that they are going to kill Cersei Lannister, and so he needs to talk to his superior before letting anyone through, but then he doesn't, and he kind of just lets them go through. Yeah, I know, it sounds like a fucking joke, but again, the writing is so horrendously tism that this is what we have to work with.
And that don't make no sense. I had to talk about that. How in the hell Cersei, I mean, what's her fucking Arya and the Hound, how the hell they didn't make it to King's Landing before the army does? They got a head start. Because that don't make sense.
Though that's not really the big issue here. How is it that Arya and the Hound ended up getting to King's Landing after the army has arrived and set up camp, when they left Winterfell before the army did, and for that matter, it's a fucking marching army compared to two people on horseback? This is completely fucking backwards, and we know exactly why. If Arya had turned up days ago and completed her task, the entire narrative would fall apart. Or, well, it would fall apart more. I do enjoy, though, that the issue of not using the most talented assassin in Westeros to avoid the war altogether is only now being considered?
Think about it.
I started to hate Arya.
But it's more of a joke than an actual strategy consideration, so... More pressing, however, is the location of the Northern armies. They are camped outside King's Landing, in range of the fucking archers and scorpions. For the love of Satan, why in the world is this a thing? You guys are asking to be obliterated. Good God. Tyrion then tells the Unsullied that are guarding Jaime Lannister to go away because he wants to be alone with the prisoner, and that he outranks anyone who ordered them to be there, so they have to listen to him, and then they do. Okay, so the brother of this high-value prisoner that should be dead just
Jaime Lannister
to leave so that he can be alone with the prisoner, and you agreed. You don't even want to check with the Queen. Actually, how would Dany not have put out a restriction on this specific interaction? She has several times pointed out how Tyrion loves his family to the point of having a blind spot.
Your strategy has lost us Dawn, the Iron Islands, and the Reach.
Our enemies?
Our enemies? Your family, you mean? Perhaps you don't want to hurt them after
Season
all.
7.
In fact, she has previously commented on how insanely biased Tyrion is to Jaime specifically.
He came here alone, knowing full well how he'd be received. Why would he do that?
Perhaps he trusts his little brother to defend him. Right up to the
Season
moment he
8, episode
slits my
2.
throat.
I imagine she would want to keep them away from each other, but no, this all goes without a hitch, and it's easily translated to the member of the Unsullied because he speaks the common tongue. How? I thought Greywin was like the only one.
And before anyone call him out, I know there's people dislike this video because I know there would be some people like, this man is talking nonsense and bullshit. He's showing you some clips and proof why, you know, this is so much wrong going on in this season.
So Jaime reveals to the audience,
and yet people will still be in denial.
How did they find you? Did you consider taking it off?
Cersei once called me the stupidest Lannister.
Jaime Lannister is not stupid, fuck off. Jaime Lannister would not get himself caught because of his golden hand. He would cover it up like he did in season 7 and like he does in this very fucking episode, you feckless hemorrhoids. Stop dropping the intelligence of characters to push the plot along, it's getting really annoying. So Jaime is convinced that Cersei might win the war thanks to the Iron Fleet, and so Tyrion then says this.
There won't be Iron Fleet for much longer.
Okay, 3 scorpions out of 11 fucking slam-dunked a dragon days ago. You saw this happen right before your own allied fleet was obliterated by the same Iron Fleet you just said is about to be deleted. There are 1,000 ships in that fleet, and that's almost 100 times the amount that took down 1 dragon, you simpering toolbag. How does this statement make any sense unless Tyrion has had a lobotomy? I suppose that theory is supported by the dialogue that comes next. Tyrion decides to poke at the reason Jaime has left for King's Landing, confirming our fears.
You're going back to her.
And this is my second favorite character, Jaime Lannister.
Cersei simply wants to be with her. It would seem his arc was always going to be what is essentially a big circle, but once we had reached half a circle over 7 seasons, these chuckle fucks just reverted him back in the span of an episode. That's so fucking cool. But it gets worse.
If not for her, and for every one of the million people in that city, innocent or otherwise.
To be honest, I never really cared much for them, innocent or otherwise.
What the fuck, you intergalactic troglodytes? What universe do you live in where you think this is who Jaime fucking Lannister is?
Kind of forgot.
What the hell are you? No! No! No!
You can't just forget that. That's the core of his fucking character. The reputation he garnered for himself being the Kingslayer is based entirely on him making a rough decision to kill his own king and his pyromancers to save a city of hundreds of thousands.
If you surrender, I'll spare the lives of your men. On my honor.
Your honor. Bargaining with oathbreakers is like building on quicksand.
His entire life is defined by his investment in innocent people.
There it is. That's the look.
In season 3, he reveals why he killed the Mad King. This is what's his core of his character. I'm gonna let him speak.
So we had experiments, place caches of wildfire all over the city. Finally, the day of reckoning came. I urged him to surrender peacefully. bring him my father's head. Then he turned to his pyramids, found them in their homes, found them in their beds. Tell me if your precious Randy of men, women, and children burned alive, would you have done it? Would you have kept your oath then?
To be honest, I never really cared much for them. Innocent or otherwise.
He's been butchered by one fucking line. The show doesn't even bother having Tyrion fucking deny it. He simply says,
Do you care for one innocent? You know you do.
fuck you, man. You should know your brother better, and so should the fucking showrunners.
Thank
This
you.
is so downright balked that it contradicts not only the good seasons, but season 8 as well. Jaime dropped everything in order to fight for life itself and save the kingdoms. He nearly died to abandon Cersei and help the innocence of the world. What was this fucking scene for? And fuck, what was this? Just fan service? Oh, we thought it would be so cool if Jaime and Brienne fucked, even though Jaime is going back to Cersei the following fucking few days, cause, I don't know, that's how it be. Yeah, that's how it be. Jaime Lannister was all about recontextualization, to present one perspective and to then present it again through different eyes to help us understand he is far from a morally reprehensible character. Each of his reprehensible actions can be understood as desperate or even downright merciful in the grand scheme of things. Most of his choices will ultimately prevent additional people from being slaughtered, but we weren't necessarily privy to that because we saw Jaime. We saw his history, his actions through the eyes of Ned Stark.
Yeah, because we don't know about him. We saw it from Ned Stark perspective.
So you tell yourself at night, you're a servant of justice. You were avenging my father when you shoved your sword in Aerys Targaryen's back. You served him well. And serving was safe.
That's where Ned Stark found me.
Because we judge him.
Why didn't you tell Lord Stark? You think Ned Stark wanted to hear my side? He judged me. Killed you the moment he set eyes on me.
It was made very clear that it wasn't about safety or a lack of morality or even a false sense of justice that Jaime wanted to bask in. It was a conflict of honor, of his oaths. And he ultimately went with his heart. This is confirmed by one of the greatest scenes in the show. But nah, you just had to fuck his character so goddamn hard. Jaime wouldn't have said this shit. This is just stupid. Jaime, no, fuck you, fuck off, you piece of shit TV show. Hashtag not my Jaime fucking Lannister. He's been treated worse than Varys because Jaime just lost his entire core, while Varys' nonsense can be looked at as him being extremely stupid at the worst possible moment. Though they still completely fucked up Varys too, that cockless ham. So Tyrion then tries to get the message to Jaime that King's Landing will fall, but Jaime knows that there is only one dragon left and the soldiers on each side have equalized. This means that Daenerys might just lose, but Tyrion completely disagrees. I guess we'll see how it goes. The two brothers agree that Jaime will be released for the specific goal of getting to Cersei and having her surrender to Dany. Now, if you are like me, you may have believed that Tyrion spoke to Davos in order to have Jaime smuggled into King's Landing through that secret entrance, allowing Jaime to get to Cersei well before the battle begins.
I literally said the same damn thing when I saw this episode for the first time. I'm like, Cersei, Jaime, and Tyrion know in and out of King's Landing, so they should know the secret tunnel, the secret passageways and everything. But no, they just no.
But no, Tyrion wants to have Jaime try and sneak past the Northmen, the Unsullied, and the Dothraki, and then he wants him to get into King's Landing and go through the front entrance all the way up to Cersei through crowds of thousands. Davos Seaworth is the best fucking smuggler in this goddamn world, you empty-headed gremlin. Have him take Jaime right to Cersei. This is so fucking stupid. Oh, maybe I was wrong. Jaime just walks into King's Landing despite the Northmen camp being right outside. I guess he didn't have to pass any checkpoints like the Hound and Iron Arya did. It was obviously much easier than I thought. And for that matter, why are people trying to get into the city when it's about to be attacked by several armies and a dragon? Do you guys remember in Season 2 when people were being killed if they tried to abandon the city?
Kind of forgot.
Guys, just camp out in the fucking woods for the night, okay? Might be worth it unless... Oh, right, King's Landing is a fucking desert now. This show is such a fucking disaster. Also, do the Lannisters have any idea how much of a Trojan horse they could have let in by accident here? Like, I don't know, 2 assassins, for example? Speaking of which, it's lucky that Arya can use multiple faces to hide her identity. Oh, she's not using that ability. That extremely useful ability that allows you to assassinate with ease.
Kind of forgot.
But you can't be serious. She's just gonna use her normal-ass face with her stark hairdo for this?
Clearly the show forgot she got abilities.
It's lucky that the Hound wasn't working in King's Landing for the majority of his life and isn't extremely well known as a specific large scarred man. It would be really awkward if he just put some rags on his head and managed to walk past many Lannister soldiers. How does this hulking troll manage to skirt by the whole fucking city? If anything, he looks even more ridiculous than normal, for fuck's sake. And why are these two walking when everyone else is in a mad rush? You guys can end the fucking war. Why are you strolling to the target? What the fuck? Jaime is then shown taking his hand cover off to hopefully get enough attention as Jaime Lannister, showing the audience that he knew to cover it on his way in because he didn't want to be recognized, and then removing it when he wants to garner attention. Because, you know, he's not retarded, unless someone decides he is.
Kind of forgot.
Shut the fuck up. Unfortunately for Jaime, he gets to the Red Keep once the gates have been closed, and so he decides to go the secret route into the keep, which makes you wonder why he didn't open with that, considering how many thousands of people were trying to get in through the main route. If only a helpful
just don't make sense.
facilitated this, as well as one of the smartest men in Westeros coming up with such a plan. Nah, I'm sure both Tyrion and Jaime are the stupid Lannister. I would like to mention, by the way, that he was released during the night, and he was right next to the castle walls, yet it took him till late in the morning to make it to the gates. I guess time is subjective. And like I said, it's just so lucky that the Lannister army are letting everyone in. We are then shown the Golden Company is outside of the castle defenses of King's Landing. Why? Why the fuck wouldn't they be in an archer formation defending the walls? Why would you... King's Landing is enormous. You are on the good guy team.
Don't think about it.
Mixed in with Dothraki and Unsullied. Why aren't they split into factions? Do you know how annoying it is to start up a horse charge when surrounded by foot soldiers? No, that's not a problem, because once the battle starts, they are suddenly in factions. Okay. Tyrion tells Jon that the bells mean surrender and that he is to call off his men at that point. This is Jon's reaction.
Saying jack shit, just...
Who are you anymore? Why didn't you say yes? Why are you acting like this is a tough decision? You just watched families pile into that city. Do you not want to surrender? If the request is confusing, then maybe you could ask Tyrion a follow-up question? You are Jon fucking Snow. Stop pretending like you have no agency. You were the driving force of the plot in the North for the entire show. But now? Now you're just a damp fucking waffle drifting in the wind. Why would Tyrion be on this battlefield? He could have and should have given Jon this information ages ago. What possible purpose is he serving by being here, and how is it that Tyrion hasn't been arrested? Wouldn't people have realized that Jaime had escaped by now, and that Tyrion was the last to see him? Oh, we need Tyrion to do some Pikachu faces in this episode, so that's why all of the other things happened. For fuck's sake. Speaking of which, it finally begins. We cut to Euron looking out into the sky, and despite expecting Daenerys, her angle on the sun makes it so he is taken by surprise. How is his entire fleet taken by surprise when they all have different angles on Daenerys? Well, that's the magic of movie making, folks. A lot of people were thinking that since the dragons are so useless now, there had to be something additional to work with in this episode. Could it be that Dany had summoned a legion of dragons from Dragonstone? Could it be that there will be an unveiling of a secret weapon? What if Rhaegal rises from the sea, reborn and ready to flank the Iron Fleet? Yes, the fanbase is that desperate to fix this show, but nope, it's just Dany on Drogon. So let's see how that works out. Dany approaches in almost the exact same pattern that she used in the previous episode. Euron's fleet were a mere 11 in number at that point, and 3 of those 11 nailed their shots with only 1 being necessary for the kill. Thus, Dany fled the additional Scorpion shots in that episode episode to live. But now Danny is facing at least a staggering 150 ships at once. And for some bizarre reason, during the entire fucking battle, we are only shown 4 of them shot at her. 4 of them in fucking total. Don't believe me? Here they are. Why the fuck aren't there volleys of these fucking things? And to make matters worse, Euron's fleet is wiped out in a cutaway. We see Danny blow up about 10 of them at most, while they refuse to fire on her, with the rest of the ships apparently self-combusting in the meantime, despite us being shown as much as 150 in this fight. And that's on top of us being told that there would be how many in total?
Want every woman spinning facts for sales?
1,000 ships.
1,000 ships. And I will give you this world.
The Iron Fleet, you own the seas. So here I am, with 1,000 ships, in 2 good hands.
Kind of forgot. Fuck off. 1,000 ships is not something he can lie about to Cersei fucking Lannister to that fucking degree. This is just a blatant flip of the stakes. 11 ships were devastating, 1,000 are useless. Why? Because the sun is bright? Not like sailors have any fucking experience with that. How fucking insulting. Look how open Drogon is here. Look how fucking large the target is. How do you only have 1 Scorpion firing? You also get Euron firing way earlier than he normally would, preventing him from getting an easy shot. And on top of that, you get an easier shot here than Rhaegal was in the previous episode. I mean, they hit 3 from behind a massive fucking rock from miles away. And you get Danny being better than ever at dodging all of a sudden, too. God, this is a fucking writing disaster. Oh no, they forgot Euron's men were mute.
Wait, they were?
Mute.
Oh, wow. I forgot about that. Oh, wow.
Kind of forgot. Fucking come on. The main point is.
Damn, not even the show. They can't.
Just like that.
I literally forgot about that.
Dragon in mere moments, but the other dragon got one-shotted somehow. Okay. We then cut back to the Golden Company sitting outside of the gates of King's Landing, and they fail to cast a fucking shadow. The Northmen clearly do, and they have front casting shadows when facing the castle, meaning the sun is behind them, and thus the Golden Company would absolutely cast shadows unless there was an insane formation of clouds. This could be explained by the idea that they shot these scenes in different places and failed to make the lighting consistent. Or the Golden Company are mostly CGI, and the shadows weren't added in. Forgot, for fuck's sake.
Hold on. Wait.
Cast a fucking shadow. The Northmen clearly do, and they have front casting shadows when facing the castle, meaning the sun is behind them, and thus the Golden Company would absolutely cast shadows unless there was an insane formation of clouds. This could be explained by the idea that they shot these scenes in different places and failed to make the lighting consistent. Or the Golden Company are mostly CGI, and the shadows weren't.
I didn't know that was CGI.
The enormous 20,000-man army of the Golden Company is now presented at the front of King's Landing, and it amounts to an incredible, a Herculean 1,600. It's like 1,600-ish at most. We even scan around Harry Strickland to see they're all gone on his right side after.
Who is Harry Strickland?
On the center of the army, so there's way less of them than expected, and they disappear. Okay, as I said, Danny then breaks through the front gate behind the Golden Company to their complete shock, probably because they thought they were immune to fire when it comes to being next to stone, especially after what happened to Jon, but they unfortunately do not have his level of plot armor and are of course obliterated. They also aren't given any warning by the men manning the walls or the scorpions right above them, because apparently a dragon is hard to spot or hear, even though it's already attacked the walls. Weird that. Danny even destroys a scorpion on the main gate after the Northmen have made it into the city. What the hell was that guy doing this whole time? Also, why were the Golden Company even outside the walls when there's a fucking dragon on the enemy team, for fuck's sake? Surely they would want an elevated position to... fucking whatever. Strickland is then skewered by Grey Worm, who managed to some fucking how keep up with the Dothraki charge. Oh, and that reminds me.
We've seen how devastating a Dothraki charge can be. What they see is just the end of the Dothraki, essentially.
And we see the Doakians in episode 5. Writing is subjective.
Kind of forgot. And with that, the of my and everyone else's time. As the assault continues, we see Dany casually wiping out more and more of the Scorpions as if they aren't even fucking manned. One of these things, they only needed one to kill Rhaegal. The fuck? I guess we don't need to understand the stakes anymore, we should just enjoy the fucking colors. I just love this shot of King's Landing being attacked by Drogon. You have a shit ton of Scorpions right here. They are manned, but they aren't aiming at the dragon. They aren't even trying, and you have what is essentially most of the
wow.
King's Landing completely unharmed. There's just a shit ton of Scorpions that aren't even firing. But then, along with all of that, and only about 10 of the ships in the Iron Fleet being shown to have burned down when viewing the fight directly, Qyburn manages to announce that every Scorpion has been destroyed, the Golden Company is gone, and the Iron Fleet is burned. How the fuck does he know that from where he was standing 5 minutes ago? We don't have fucking tracking systems and phones in this world. This is only being said so that the audience understand that Dany has slam dunked the fucking war, whether or not it made any sense. Tyrion is then seen walking through the wreckage of the front gate while the fire is still actively burning and enemy soldiers are running around him. What the fuck is he doing? You are very noticeable, sir. People are aware that the imp is the hand of the fucking foreign queen. Why in the world would you be doing something so incredibly stupid? Oh, because he needs to prepare himself for Pikachu face.
Red Keeper's never fallen. It won't fall today.
That's a very interesting thing for Cersei Lannister to say, the woman whose life was defined by her betrothal to Robert Baratheon, the man who started the rebellion that ended in the fall of King's Landing and the Red fucking Keep.
Kind of forgot.
Shut the fuck up. We then get this badass slow charge into King's Landing from our favorite characters. Jon Snow, Grey Worm, and fucking Davos Seaward. Sir Davos? The man who can't fight for shit, the man who's a fucking smuggler, whose specialty is the fucking sea, who only fights when resources are spread extremely thin and there's no other option, and he still ends up on the back line in those scenarios.
I've never been much of a fighter.
I think this was, season 6.
Kind of forgot.
Stop saying that. Look at this. During their badass walk, this guy just allows himself to get killed by a Lannister soldier that was clearly coming in from in front of him. And then Jon just...
That sword did not even hit him.
Lightsaber, and he just goes down. Armor means nothing as per usual, and the choreographers skipped this bit, I suppose. Regardless, further on in the city, there is a sudden stalemate. A huge crowd of Lannister soldiers are blocking the apparent single road in King's Landing, and the army of Northmen are just staring at them. There comes a... How? How is this happening with the chaos of a city under assault with soldiers both on foot and on horseback charging through? Oh, of course, because we need the coming scene to happen. But before...
Oh, we gotta get to that scene.
The Lannister men surrender and the city is taken. Typically in Westeros, which is important because all of these guys are Northmen, you take prisoners, you clamp them in irons, and at the very least you take their weapons and sort them into groups, etc. Fighting a war with honor and all that. So what does Jon do? Well, the weapons are thrown down, and then there's this long series of looks, people giving good old looky-loos, just waiting for something, good old something. I'm not even kidding. Like, I'm drawing out this explanation to simulate how much looking there is. Jon Snow, instead of making decisions as a leader, is literally put on pause because he's not a character in this episode. Moving on, oh my god, what the fuck? That's where the Iron Fleet were? Are you fucking kidding me? The Iron Fleet were that fucking far away? Holy shit. Dany didn't even need to destroy them to take King's Landing. What the hell? Okay, so Dany has obliterated all of the significant forces that belong to Cersei. No Iron Fleet, no Scorpions, no Golden Company, and we get a shot of her looking over her achievement with what we can call mixed feelings. Also, it would seem they gave her the fight makeup while forgetting to give her the gaunt makeup on top of it. Like, she pretty much looks fine now compared to her starved self earlier. Perhaps she got that Snickers after all. Regardless, the bell begins to ring, and curiously, they don't show who rang it, which is a strange thing to leave up in the air because they even have the city folk begging Cersei to ring it just moments before. No, seriously, listen to this clip. You would think that if Jaime rang it, the show would let us know, since it is yet another city-saving act. But if it was a random, like a civilian doing it, that's also pretty significant. And hell, it would be even more layered as a conflict if it was some random soldier that ended up ringing the bell, but we never find out for sure. Seems like wasted potential, but anyway, we cut to Cersei looking downright relieved once it's rung, and the conflict appears to be over. Only something else happens.
Oh, I'm about to show you, but... There's a video of people react to this episode, and when Daenerys did this, what she did, I know people are gonna hate me for saying this, but I literally laugh at everyone because they saw Daenerys, you know what she did, and now they know how we felt about the third episode. Fucking hell. Okay, I'm about to show you.
There comes a time in every media they don't drink with the right.
I don't like Daenerys.
I don't, but then they massive no. It doesn't always do as it be, but sometimes it does. Derived from the milk. I just no. You fucked up her character so goddamn hot. Dany wouldn't do that. No, that's fucking stupid. Nope. This isn't Daenerys. No, fuck you, fuck off, you piece of shit TV show. Hashtag not my dimensions, Daenerys fucking Targaryen. What the fuck am I watching right now? She's literally burning children. This is her whole fucking thing. She doesn't kill innocent people. She saves them. This is at the core of her fucking character. It's what fucking drives her, you loathsome cunts. How do you fuck up a character to this degree? Fucking hell. Oh. Right. Can we just change our own timeline at this point? This is so wrong it hurts to think about. You can't just... Oh, okay. We're gonna come back to it. For now, yeah, this character wearing Daenerys' skin and using her titles, deciding to incinerate the surrendered men, women, and children of King's Landing to the point of hunting them down specifically, is not someone I recognize. I mean, she's doing all of this to the horror of Cersei fucking Lannister, which would make some sense, right? That Cersei is afraid for her life as the foreign queen flies her dragon straight towards the Red Keep. Well, that's not really what happens. Daenerys kinda just goes off in some random directions first and massacres everyone but Cersei. And as a result, Cersei is horrified? This is very confusing because many might say that Cersei has openly admitted to hating the people of King's Landing. Tyrion is more than aware of this. I figured that Cersei using people as a meat shield would have tipped off old Daenerys, but no.
It's in that moment on the walls of King's Landing when she's looking at that symbol of everything that was taken from her when she makes the decision to make this personal.
How the fuck does this make it personal when Cersei's never cared about these people and actually tried to use them to protect herself? That makes Dany look like an idiot, but in the same vein, why is it working? Making Cersei look like she's kinda losing her mind? Cersei does not like these people, she never has, and Dany knows this?
The lowest among us are no different from the highest.
Yeah, I'm gonna say she hates the people, and the people hates her, so...
An open heart is what you'll get at flea bottom if you're not careful, my dear.
1 million people live in this city. They're about to become 1 million more soldiers in the army of the dead.
I imagine most of them would be an improvement.
Kind of forgot.
You can't use that excuse forever, you demented ballsack. I reckon the reason they had her do this was that they wanted to have her destroy the majority of King's Landing so that she is definitely morally reprehensible, as opposed to morally grey, but they also had to show some form of a goal that was reasonable to fuel this moment. So from there they tried to show that she had the one goal in Cersei Lannister, but that she also needed to destroy everything? Can you imagine the pitch meeting for this? Like there's that one crazy dude who desperately wants it to happen.
This is some great art they're doing.
Dany is pissed because she's lost a lot of people, alright? She's gonna be so mad that she may make a few decisions that are questionable at best. She might even brutally kill some people.
Like Cersei?
Like Cersei, yeah, but as she approaches her, all of King's Landing is in the way, so she kills it.
I'm sorry, kills what?
She kills all of the people of King's Landing as she tries to kill Cersei to get revenge.
That doesn't make any sense at all. Why wouldn't she just kill Cersei?
We have to have her kill everybody. How else can we do that?
Why the fuck are you trying to make it so that she kills everyone?
Well, how else will the audience know that she's a bad guy?
You are the epitome of a shitty writer.
What? You haven't even considered the themes.
And so we receive this garbled mess where she is clearly motivated to destroy...
Before we continue that video, that is some great art. That's... I don't know how... I know that guy took some time to make that. That looks amazing.
Cersei specifically, but then she fucking veers off and begins to obliterate the innocent city folk for no reason at all. Cersei is only killed as a fucking coincidence.
Let it be fair.
Daenerys, do you understand that having a fucking dragon is something of a source of fear in the first place? Do you get that when you parked your flying plot-armored reptilic tank fuck on the battlements of King's Landing, people were screaming for surrender? You had them in the palm of your hand. And how much would they then appreciate you while fearing your power and control if you spared their lives? You know, like your fucking ancestors did when they first took over Westeros. I don't believe they killed everyone. When you burn people, when you burn people's families, that fear turns to rage. You fucking mushroom.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Either way, we gotta slow this moment right the fuck down and do multiple takes because this is a disaster in storytelling. All of the innocent people start getting obliterated, and as a result of Dany's choice, Grey Worm decides to start killing the surrendered soldiers. Because apparently, everyone was just standing here for fucking ages not making any further decisions. It's pretty frustrating that Grey Worm fails to see that these guys aren't that much different than slaves to Cersei at this point, but we have the excuse that he's just too emotional about losing his Sunday. That's his whole character now. They took my Sunday. I am bad. Regardless, now that someone has died, the fucking Northmen begin to assault all of these surrendered, weaponless men. You're probably wondering how this could happen, especially when you have Jon fucking Snow, the free folk pardoning, peace-seeking king in the north, standing right there. Well, Jon's reaction is that of Pika fucking Chew. Again. Motherfucker, who are you? You should be outraged. You should be fucking arresting Grey Worm. You should be calling a full retreat immediately. You should be barking all kinds of orders across this battlefield. But he does fuck all. Fuck. The Lannister army then, as they should, pick up their weapons for the fight to continue, and very much like the Tismy elements in episode 3, dumb things happen during the action. Check out this hilarious moment where Grey Worm charges into a fucking horde of Lannister men who are, again, near armed, and the nearest support for Grey Worm is a guy 2 meters away, with the rest of the army nowhere near. So he's dead. Definitely dead. Or not, either way. We then get some great Pikachu Jon shots again, because you see, if you have your character stand around like muffins, then you can make whatever you want happen on screen. In this instance, he clearly needs other people to tell him that something is wrong before he can see it that way. Regardless, he finally wakes up and tells, like, 2 of his men to stop, but that doesn't work because a random Lannister soldier decides to attack Jon and forces him to continue the fight. Look at this fucking battlefield. You have Jon all the way over here, and the nearest Lannister all the way over here. You then get Jon telling his men to stop engaging after having stayed still, and what then? A Lannister soldier moves from this front line past all of his support and through several hostile Northmen all the way over to attack this one specific dude. The one dude who is trying to stop the men from attacking. The one dude who has the authority in this scenario to stop the men from attacking. Why the fuck would that ever happen? Well, because the plot needs to stop Jon from stopping his men by any and all contrived means. Combat writing at its fucking worst. Grey Worm also seems to disapprove of Jon throughout this scene. I'm not sure if it's because Jon doesn't want to kill innocent people and Grey Worm does because he lost any semblance of a character, or it could be because Grey Worm doesn't have a chin and thus Jon intimidates him. Either way, Grey Worm starts killing people with some extremely lame choreography. Check it out. You gotta poke, spin, poke, spin, poke, poke, tap with back of spear, long poke, poke, slash, and poke. How is this the peak form of the guy who is the commander of the most skilled army in Westeros and Essos put together? Kind of forgot. Fuck's sake. We then see Cersei reacting to this whole thing, and it's utterly hilarious. I genuinely love this face she's making. It's like she's completely bewildered that Daenerys would even bother burning the people instead of burning her.
Or maybe she's low-key angry that Daenerys got the high kill count in her.
Is of course distraught that she's losing her kingdom, but she also seems to be confused that Dany's just murdering people for no reason. Not even Cersei will go out of her way to kill all of these people for no reason, and she hates them. This reaction shot is totally happening in my videos from now on, by the way. So we then see that Daenerys, who is always spotted at the base of Drogon's neck when in flight, is now gone from there during her killing spree, in more shots than one for some reason.
Oh wow, she did disappear.
The effects department may have taken a few shortcuts. And look, these men here just kind of forgot they were on fire. that every episode seems to have its very own version of the Starbucks cup. Wonderful. Tyrion is looking shocked because, I mean, it's pretty much all he can do now. Then we see Davos is actively trying to save the civilians of King's Landing, while the other Northmen are cutting them down and raping them.
Okay, I'm gonna have to, like I said, I'm gonna stop this video because we reached that 1 hour mark, and we're gonna do this next time. Thank you for watching. We will continue next time, but like I said, this is a 2 hour and 37 minute of a video, and I can't sit here and watch the whole the whole 2 hour mark. Like I said, we're gonna reach the 1 hour mark, and we're gonna finish the other hour mark in the next video. Thank you for watching. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and please check out this guy's channel. He really deserves more subscribers than, I mean, he got to over 200,000 subscribers, but he really deserves a lot more. I will put the link at the description and his channel. Thank you, and see you guys.